Welcome to a cruise ship heist. Chapter 64, Time to Play. This is your captain speaking from the bridge, and it looks like you have a fantastic sunny day ahead here in St. Vincent. As my officers have told you, there will be a drill this morning. All passenger seagoing ships must perform drills each week. Today, we are simulating a fire in the engine mechanics workshop. I repeat, this is a drill, and you need not take any action. However, should you wish to join in and learn more about marine safety, you may do so when you hear the 7 short alarms, followed by 1 long alarm. If it was me on holiday, I would go ashore. Have a good day. There is a knock at my door. It is either the cabin steward or Georgie. I turn my television off and the voice of the captain goes quiet. I open the door and I can hear him again from the corridor address system. Georgie stands dressed in her life jacket and yellow cap. I need to wear bright yellow so no one will notice me. Come in. I close the door behind her. You know what this is? I ask her, pointing at the life jacket she's wearing. It's bright and horrendously obvious. Take it off. I can't. I must attend lifeboat drill. Unless we're eloping. It's perfect for both of us. I'll be a passenger volunteer. Now, take it off and watch. She removes the jacket and I take it from her. I stab it along the inside seam of the buoyancy block with the handle of the spoon. I rip positively buoyant foam material out and slide in packs of $100 bills. I won't float now, she jokes. Help me. She passes the money packs to me, and I squeeze them in. As she tries to carry the result, she mocks a fool. Crikey! We finish too, hide the foam and clear up, with enough time to make a cup of tea before the ship's alarm goes off. 7 uncomfortable blasts, followed by 1 long blast. For exercise, for exercise, for exercise only, the ship's public address system announces. Right, got your passport? Georgie nods. And as much money as I can carry? There's no time to think. The 2 of us walk swiftly from the cabin, in plain sight, both trying to make light work of the nearly 40-pound bright yellow life jackets clearly stamped crew. We head down to deck 4, the front of the ship. Georgie has her card registered as being at the drill. I am ordered in a lifeboat, driven around, then back again. At that point, instead of following the rest of the crew who are finishing their part in the drill, we head across the beam to the ship's security point, landside. Our ship cruise cards go against the infrared scanner, and we exit, like all the tourists, except we have life jackets on. Somehow, it is a perfectly acceptable look. Walking down the pier in the sunshine feels euphoric. Even better with Caribbean music being beaten out on tin drums. We pass dancers and stilt walkers, all in native dress, and go through the gate into a mass of hawkers and taxis. Our target is a handwritten sign, private boat for fishing or tours. It boasts a picture of a boat. The guy looks like an old sailor. Do you go to Bequay? Yeah, man, you bet I do. But if it's just the 2 of you, it'd be a bit expensive. 2 of us, and don't worry, my wife is paying. He leads off with a big grin, taking us past working warehouses and left towards the dockside. I would like to think my wife pay for me, but I have no idea where she be. Me name is Wilson. I get some rum to put on ice, then we can sail, he says. You get us across fast, we'll drink then. Have the rum on ice for the return journey. The rum was not for you, brother. All the more reason to find the rum after you deliver us safely. Georgie is 1 step behind me, and she's silent. My guess is she's still thinking on her words, half said in jest that if we buy a house today, her time on the ship could be over. She is so fixated by her floating home that dominates the dock that she hasn't noticed the state of the pleasure boat. Churchill wouldn't have used it in the D-Day rescue. It's not the photographed one on his sign. I point to his picture. That boat sunk, my friend. I got me this for a while. She a great ship, he says, looking less like a sailor every minute. This is nowhere near 40 feet. No, brother, 18 feet. So, it's not a ship, I say. She a boat, and you're going to love her, he says, climbing on board and turning on his ghetto blaster. Can this get us as far as Bequay? It got me there once, and today the sea is calm as a birthing pool, he announces. I step on board, which is not easy with the weight around my neck. I put both arms up to steady Georgie. Her mind is still in the ship, no more than 200 yards away across the water. Is this the last I ever see of her? She asks. I know she is thinking of her friends, of all her belongings. The boatman thinks she is worried about the aging craft. No, sister, I will get you to the beach and bring you back. He almost sings his reply while starting the engine, which sounds rough. He turns up the music, then casts off. We are chugging out of the bay. He loops the steering wheel into a rope hook and scampers around the rear of the boat, shaking fuel cans. But they all appear empty to me. Wilson, do you need to stop for fuel? No, brother, this ship knows the way to the little island, he says, finding one that has still some gushing inside. He grins like a pirate. Me not drunk them all. His joke is far from funny, if it is a joke. I've got money if you need fuel. No, brother, we get the rum on the other side. I get you there fast, no stopping. If only I could believe him. We may have acted too hastily with our need to escape. Chapter 65. Bequay. The sight of the wooden pier and a bay with boats anchored is welcome. Crazy dreams and the things we wish for, Georgie mumbles. What happens when they come true? What am I going to do with a house here? Neither of us have the answer to that yet. I can't just leave the ship. We're not. I've got a daughter to see later. That produces a slight smile of relief, and she clings to my arm. Today's about trying to make our peace of something safe, I say, leaving out detail that our boatman might drunkenly mention to others. Carrying this sum of money could be lethal, and if we went missing, no one would have a clue where we went. Hopefully, if we get back, no one will know we've been to Bequay. Our boat appears as unwelcome at the pier as Wilson. The argument is about the right to dock, which means money our boatman doesn't have. He turns to me. I'll take you to a beach, Wilson offers. I palm Wilson 2 $100 notes, and he knows he can stay. He won't be around when you come back, the man on the pier shouts at us. Fill this up with fuel and get it checked by a mechanic, and be back on this dock by 3 o'clock. He looks at the money and beams. Yes, sir. I can smell his breath. He's been drinking heavily. Sober, I add. That's an order, sailor. Georgie climbs out of the boat, hugging her life jacket, and I follow her. Leave your life jackets. They don't work on land, Wilson shouts. If it's okay, we'll keep them, just in case you don't come back, I say, knowing the pier monitor gave us the concern needed to keep them. We've still not turned ahead wearing the bright yellow buoyancy aids. Inland will be different, and I now wish I'd fetched the canvas bags with me to transfer the money into. Georgie and I walk down the short jetty towards the small town. As sweet as it is, it fails to look like it will have a real estate agent or a bank. The sign outside the poorly built post office is handwritten on wood and infers it does everything. The plan to invest money here is looking thin. The boats in the peaceful bay show wealth exists here, but like the houses isolated way up in the hills, it looks like old money. To invest, we need something I'm not seeing. Do you have a favourite spot? I ask her. Jack's Bar. Everyone loves Jack's Bar. It's on Princess Margaret Beach. I've walked over the hills to it, past the houses on the coast roads. They're spectacular, but I can't do that walk with this weight. We can afford a taxi. I wave at the only driver waiting by the few buildings. You want to see the turtles? He shouts. I need a real estate agent. Can you stay with us? $50, man. We climb into his car, and he drives us around the corner and up one building. We could have walked quicker had we seen the small property shop that claims to rent holiday homes. I can see from the window display that he's way off base, but he insists on walking us in. These are his friends, and as much as I would love to chat with them and hear all about the island, my clock is ticking. "You looking to stay on our beautiful island?" is the greeting we get from a very cheerful lady. Not exactly, we're crew off the ship. We get back here every other week. A group of us are looking to buy here if there are no restrictions, I suggest. A house on the hill above the beach, above Jack's Bar, looking out to sea? Georgie asks. That has slowed the lady's outer actions down, and inside she is thinking. I can see the cogs turning. She is desperate not to lose a commission, but I'm also guessing she doesn't have what we need. She retreats behind her desk. "Expensive," she says, seemingly giving the word more syllables than it has and stretching them out. "Very expensive. We know the island. We have money. We don't have time. We need to be back on our ship before 4, I add, to focus the need for attention. $1 million, she asks, to gauge how serious we are. We either spend it here or on another island, I counter. She collects a black handbag and sits a hat on her head as if she were off to church. Then she leads us to the door. "My name is Sylvie. It is the only name you need to know in Bequia." She turns to her young assistant. "You mind the shop." Sylvie turns back to us at the door. "You leave your life jackets here." She moves to help us take them off, but we both ease back. The last thing we are going to do is let her feel the weight. "We've got them, just in case there's a tsunami," I say. Sylvie is a no-nonsense, powerful African lady who can smell a deal and a rat. Fanning herself as soon as she leaves her air conditioning, she takes the taxi's front passenger door. Georgie and I know we're in the back, and I take the door behind her. She leans into me. "How much you got stuffed in those yellow vests?" "More than enough," I say. "If we find somewhere, you get looked after. If not, it goes to another island." "It not going back on that ship," she says, almost as a threat. "Kieran?" "I got you right, girl. Trust God and trust Sylvie." "Is that 2 people taking commission?" Georgie asks her. "God's work is free. You just pay me, I thank him." Somehow, she intends to make sure, however much we have, stays on this island.